It happened. A game that the Timberwolves have played this year that I am not just leaving frustrated completely. Wolves moved to 7-8. They did play the terrible now 4-11 Orlando Magic. And I actually don't think that they're really that bad if they were fully healthy. But like half of their players were out going into tonight, and half of them were like getting just beaten up and hurt during the game too. Key people that were out: Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter Jr., Paulo Banchero. So they were missing probably three of their best four players. Only Franz in that group being the one to play. Unless you want to throw Bol, the king of basketball, in there. I will forever kind of have a little bit of disdain towards Michael Malone for just imprisoning him in Denver for so long. He looked great tonight. But let's talk about the Wolves. They have another blazing first quarter just like they did against the Cavs. Score 42 points. End up leading by 18 by the end of the first quarter. Anthony Edwards has 19 points and 5 threes in that first quarter. I've said it before, you do not want to mess with first quarter Ant. He has these sprees where he'll hit like 5 threes in a quarter. I feel like almost all of them are in the first. If I were playing the Wolves, it would be my main focus to not let him do anything in the first quarter. Because yeah, he's a microwave. He gets hot quick. But he's one of those players, once he gets hot, there's no stopping him the rest of the game. And once he starts seeing some threes go in, like everything opens up for Ant, and he's just a monster. That was the case tonight. Puts up 35. He'll still go these stretches where he doesn't score a lot just because he's not like inserting himself into the offense. And he doesn't have the same usage and control that a lot of stars do. But once he gets hot and he keeps getting the ball, like, whew, it's trouble. I saw 2 threes go in, and I'm like, oh, Ant's cooking tonight. It's over. Ant's going to be unstoppable. And that was the case. Also showing up in the first half especially, Karl Anthony Towns, who has 17 in the first half, ends with 30. What was really impressive was how he ran in transition, especially in the second quarter. I think he got 3 and 1 plays in transition in that quarter alone. That's another thing that we saw a lot last year. When he gets the ball in transition and he can just go straight into a drive or a layup, he's so good at finishing. He was very composed tonight. I think the last stretch of games, he's just been better about that. Still the same issues of fouling, complaining, being careless with the ball. And he's at least just making more shots and getting back to like the offensive phenom that he can be. Speaking of phenoms, Jordan McLaughlin. I love this man so much. Not like a blazing stat line, only I think 3 assists, but he had 4 steals in less than 20 minutes. That was his biggest contribution tonight. There were plays that really led to buckets too, and even prevented a couple. There was one spree, I think it was in the third quarter, that they were starting to make a bit of a run. Bol's barreling down the lane, who's been having a big game. J-Mac is able to strip him and then get a pass ahead to Kyle Anderson for a dunk. 4-point swing right there. And J-Mac gives you all of those little plays that really add up to like stop sprees and just keep things under control. Love when he's on the court. Also with D-Lo, there was a span where they were on the court together again. They play well. They have great chemistry. And I believe that's how D-Lo got the 2 points that he had in the first 3 quarters was from an assist from J-Mac. D-Lo was very dormant, but not shooting a lot for most of this game. Fourth quarter, the Magic start to go on a bit of a run, and that's when D-Lo starts making some shots, being a little bit more aggressive. He helped weather that storm and keep things calm. And really when the Magic finally got things within like 10 is when all of our stars started to really score and pick things up, which was good to see because those have been leading to collapses a lot to start this year. Now let's get into more of the concerns that are still present with this Wolves team. So we are last in the league in allowed offensive rebounds and allowed second chance points, which is atrocious to be paying these massive contracts to these 2 7-footers playing out at the same time. And we're giving up non-stop O-boards and getting penalized from it. Magic won the second chance battle again tonight, and Bol especially, like he was just getting putbacks on his own shots. And we did lose the rebounding battle again tonight, and even though the Magic are a big team, they were missing Wendell Carter Jr. and Banchero, who are massive contributors to those rebound stats. And no one really seems to be intimidated by Gobert, and he just has not had the impact that we really need him to for him to be a real worthwhile beneficial piece, especially with everything that we gave up for him. And something that I noticed a couple days ago that nearly gave me a stroke is that Walker Kessler, who was our first round pick this year that we ended up lumping into that trade with like 80 other things to get Gobert, he is averaging more blocks per game in less than 15 minutes of play this season than Gobert is, who's playing over 30. So in half the time, about 1/8 of what we gave up to get Gobert is averaging more blocks per game than he is. Of course, that's not all that defense is, and that's not all Gobert is, but for Kessler to be doing that like in his rookie year already is just showing how much we really were giving up and how little Gobert has lived up to what he was supposed to be. The Wolves do show a lot of just kind of immature tendencies as well. We ended the third quarter, the last 30 seconds, extremely poorly. Give up a 3 in the 2-for-1 situation, then a turnover, which turns into a flagrant, and then they get another shot off of that. And then all that momentum carried into the start of the fourth quarter where the Magic were rolling. They get the lead down to 9, and Kyle Anderson fouls on a 3 to give, I think it was Jalen Suggs, a 4-point play. And Anderson seems to commit a lot of really dumb fouls for being the veteran presence he's supposed to be. I think it is really because he's always going for steals and blocks, which he does get a fair amount of, but also picks up a lot of stuff that's going to hurt you too with just dumb fouls. Wolves were able to stabilize. They didn't get closer within 9 past that point, but something that can blow up on you very easily like it almost did against the Cavs the game before. We won. Yay. 76ers up next. Good test for Gobert to maybe prove some worth against Embiid, who just about always gives us troubles. And we'll see if Gobert can show up in a big way for us then.